Chuck Schumer simply protected his Democrats by never bringing this legislation forward.
It's an 80-20, so there's a chance here. This is Brian Style we're talking to, southeastern Wisconsin congressman, but we're going to forward everyone to Brad Schimmel's website, schimmelforjustice.com. Brian, thanks for taking time being here with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. Have a good day. Schimmel, SCHIMEL, forjustice.com. If you're in Wisconsin, make it happen. Vote today. Vote, vote, vote. We have to crush any last glimmer of hope that the left has for any victories ever again. And we can't just have one big win last November and then coast and keep losing these important seats. We have to win and win and win and win so much. We can't just rely on Trump to do executive orders. This is getting out and voting. If you know anyone in Wisconsin, call them. Get them out there today. And crush the spirit of the Democrats with massive victories in Wisconsin and in Florida. Mike Slater, Breitbart News Daily, spread the word.
Today at the Breitbart News, a weekly wrap and a wrap on the legal warfare against the Trump administration, reducing costs for all Americans, and Chuck from Deployment Cigars.
Listen live weekdays at 9 a.m. East on Sirius XM Patriot.
Just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Westwood Financial Group is not an offer.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-261-2626. That's 800-261-2626. 800-261-2626.
You didn't start a business to babysit your poorest performing employees. That's exactly why I started my business, so you don't have to. Hi, I'm Alan Jones, founder and CEO of Bambi. I created Bambi so small business owners can take back control of their business. Need to fire a poor performing employee who happens to now want 3 months off? Your Bambi HR manager will take care of that for you in your first week with us. You spend your time coaching your A players, we'll take care of the rest. I'm so confident that Bambi will help you focus on what you love about running your business that I'm offering a $1 trial to the service for your first month. Trust me, there are no limits to the amount of calls or questions you can give your Bambi HR manager. After your first month, just $29 a month for companies of any size, month to month, no hidden fees, cancel anytime.
Get a month of Bambi for just $1. Go to Bambi.com and type Patriot under radio to schedule your first call with an HR manager right now. Go to BAMBEE.com, Patriot Radio.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Human dignity.
The rule of law.
Conservative principles live here. We are Sirius XM Patriot, Channel 125.
Charles Payne's book. Now, he's a stockbroker by trade, so that's his expertise, and he spends a good amount of time in the book about that. But there's other different types of investing as well. He talks about real diversification in investing, because the S&P is basically just the big 7 tech companies. So how do we really diversify in that world? And then how do we diversify outside of just only stocks? How do we think about the stock market? I just opened up this page about bear markets, bull markets. How are we supposed to think about that as opposed to the media? Just scare everyone all the time. Unbreakable Investor. It's Investing 101 and a little bit more advanced 102 stuff near the end of the book. Text the word Mike to the number 505-505 and they'll send it to you for free. Text Mike to 505-505.
Sirius XM Patriot presents Breitbart News Daily with
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, bro. How we doing, man?
talking to someone at Breitbart, he said, God's got his fingerprints on it, and you don't even know it. And that, as a songwriter, you're always listening for things that trigger thoughts or songs. And that concept of God having his fingerprints on us was really interesting to me. So I wrote the song, and I kind of held on to it for a while, because it felt like a very big responsibility for somebody who's kind of, I call myself a rookie. I haven't been at this long. And I wasn't sure if it was my place to release the song. So I held on to it, and then I kind of stumbled on, the song for President Trump called Fighter. And after that, after I wrote Fingerprints, I had a series of really rough events in my life. The loss of my mom, my dad fell and needed major surgery, and then I lost my home in the fires. And I thought to myself, what,
$3 off, so it tells you how much they
you have to retain your
are.
faith during the storm. So I thought after the fires, I was like, this is a time to let people know to hang on and to keep the faith. And so I decided to release the song once I, got through the initial shock of losing it home, as did so many.
The lead singer of Creed wrote a just beautiful review of the song. Said, I feel God, I feel the divine in the song. Said it's the greatest compliment of anyone that we as songwriters could ever give, right? So it's the nicest compliment you could ever. My attempt at a nice compliment is my wife has incredible instinct on people. I fully trust her instinct on people. And she could tell when you sat around our table that you were a good man as well. She said it, I was like, if she said it, I'm like, all right, done. I'm in. We're all in on John Connor.
I did tell you about this song, I think, and your wife when we met for the first time, and that's a great compliment. I always try to be a good man. I feel like I'm a better man since I've been on this journey. So it's just so it just kind of gives you peace.
I want to play it here. I want to play it full. How can people listen to it, download it, and best support you in this song?
I think the best way is to buy the song on iTunes, but it's on all the streamers. So however you want to listen to music, and you can go to my Instagram. There's a link there. It says John Kahn Music, and without the H and the Don. And I just appreciate people giving it a listen.
JONKAHN Music. He's the COO of Breitbart News, and here is his latest, Fingerprints by John Kahn.
Hey. Music.
last night. We were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
You know, my brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos.
I know it's been on our list, but isn't getting life insurance a huge pain? Oh, it's so much paperwork, and you have to go see the doctor. I wouldn't even know where to start.
With Ethos, Dave said it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. Plus, it's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house. He was able to choose an amount that worked for his needs, and Ethos made the whole thing so easy and clear. Here's to sleeping better at night.
Help protect your loved ones today with Ethos. Life insurance made easy. Visit getethos.com/news to apply today. That's getethos.com/news.
Standard rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male. Bill monthly.
At Meineke, doing car care right means easy payment.
Morning, unindoctrinated.
Financing solutions. Meineke has options specifically designed for people with credit challenges. See your locally owned Meineke today for details on custom payment plans. Visit Meineke.com and schedule.
Almost 70 today. Woohoo!
Each Meineke is independently owned and operated. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke.
Only thing is we get rain with our warm weather.
Americans love using their credit cards. The most secure and hassle-free way to pay. The DC politicians
The rain
want to
all
change
weekend.
that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores
Right,
pay
yay.
how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested
Oh, look at that.
credit
Look at those
reports
sunbeams
and
coming through the clouds over there to the right.
rewards. Corporate megastores will
That's
make
sweet.
money and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card because Americans
It's angelic.
when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com.
Legal immigration.
The Second Amendment. Conservative principles live here. We are CB6 and Patriot, Channel 125.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomas. Newly released economic barometer, one that's closely watched by the Fed, shows inflation did remain elevated last month, but consumer spending picked up a bit from January. Commerce Department says consumer prices increased 2.5% in February from a year earlier. That matched January's annual pace. Israel launching an attack on the Lebanese capital Beirut. First time since a ceasefire paused. The latest Israeli-Hezbollah war in November. Suspected American airstrikes pummeling Iran-backed Houthi rebel targets in Yemen. Initial reports from the Houthis describe at least 7 people hurt in Sanaa, which the rebels have held since 2014. The full extent of the damage and possible casualties was not estimated. The number of strikes appeared particularly intense compared to other days in the U.S. campaign, began March 15th. Other areas targeted included the Red Sea port city Hodeidah and the rebel stronghold of Saada. I'm Ben Thomas. It was midday when the earthquake hit hard in Thailand.
All of a sudden, the whole building just began to move. Immediately, there was screaming, a lot of panic. I just started walking calmly at first, but then the building started really moving.
Tourist Fraser Morton, another visitor to Bangkok, Paul Vincent.
I went on the street and I walked up and a building equivalent to this one here was actually, you could see it compared to the next one, it was actually moving. It was swaying.
The 7.7 Templar causing an under-construction high-rise to collapse. At least 3 people killed there.
That's
Dozens
crazy.
buried beneath the rubble. There have been dozens of high-water rescues across parts of South Texas, a region pounded by heavy rains that spawned flash flooding in the Rio Grande Valley. Wall Street headed this morning's opening bell. The Dow futures down 111 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
I actually saw a fly in my office yesterday, though.
Enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense.
You're done hibernating.
First, well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too.
Hopefully we get a
Relief Factor.
Don't settle for
we don't do
less.
spraying on our parts. We just add more bat houses.
Plant-based dog food down to 40 ingredients. We use whole foods from carrots to bananas. Organ developed, dog trusted. This is the human grade dog food topper that gives you peace of mind. Spoil them with the best. Go to drphytos.com and subscribe to.
Defense Secretary Hegseth is in the Philippines.
He reiterated the U.S.'s commitment to supporting its allies.
Hello.
Hey,
What's up?
nothing. I don't want to fight with you.
Streaming.
Fake hood
All right, back.
who went to a private school and then another private school and now pretends to be the tough chick with her pointed nails in Washington, D.C.
Well, the first call was I gotta fire one of the director of operations for the Green Springs facility, or remove him from all the systems. There's that.
And other Democrats don't
Yeah, see ya.
your children. They would rather protect the monsters that are in our country.
And they're going to be begging the wife to be coming back pretty soon. That's kind of like
on CNBC.
when I was trying to get across to her, and then she was ornery with me about it today. I was like, she's like, I don't want to fight. I'm like, listen, let me mute this. They're probably going to call you this today about coming back.
But aside the ridiculous way in which they called it deportations under Obama, that style, the scope, and the people, you know, not the criminal illegals, or the monsters in your schools. But he's actually now trying to make a twisted logic, pretzel logic argument that Trump didn't deport as many as Obama.
But I told her, don't accept anything under 100K.
They're losing their minds because they're losing their grift.
Well, at least start at 100K.
And this administration will not stop
in the negotiations
when it comes to the various issues that face us, economic issues and more, security issues, foreign policy issues. And at the same time, up on the hill yesterday,
yeah, she busted her butt
PBS
for them. Well, she did before they
being defunded.
She's working somewhere else now, but she's doing direct counseling now, but she's about had enough of that. Plus for like half the money she was making, so it's not just about the money either. It's about, I mean, she pretty much built that place out in Green Springs.
And here's the president prior to that hearing speaking about defunding NPR and PBS.
Would you be interested in defunding and taking away taxpayer dollars to NPR and PBS?
Well, I would love to do that. I think it's very unfair. It's been done by us, a whole group of them. And frankly, there's plenty of little in the media right now. There's plenty of
Shit all over the road.
Of a different age. And they spend more money than any other network of its type ever conceived. So the kind of money that's being wasted, and it's a very biased view, you know that better than anybody. And I'd be honored to see it end. All the people that we have here today, we're well covered, and we don't need it.
Today's supposed to be opening day for the Mud Hens.
Especially, I don't even know what Georgia's recommendation is. I assume their recommendation is to close them up.
I got my Tigers stuff on. Tigers lost their opening day last night in Los Angeles.
I can't imagine that they wouldn't, because they have found so much.
Their home opener's coming soon, though.
And they have. We'll get a better readout on that hearing next week. I have time to review it. The media will have time.
It's a good game, though.
To about it in some cases, but we will see. And speaking of reducing waste and all the things that we need to do in Washington, D.C., and in fact in some of the states like Mississippi, they already have MOSH, the Mississippi Office of
Woodpeckers.
And there are others coming online with that. We're going to get into the...
You said they're an affiliate for the Astros? Is that what you said?
30 minutes sit down Rose and Brent Mayer on special report. But first, the Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, on reducing waste.
Sweet.
What he found.
Mr. President, there's a federal consulting group.
That's cool.
A group
What is that, double A?
But it was managing contracts for many different agencies that flowed through here. One of those contracts was to do surveys of individuals. $830 million for surveys. And so part of the question was, hey, could we actually see the surveys? And then the surveys came back, and the survey was like 8.5 record sheet of paper with 10 questions that anyone's child or junior high could have put together, or AI could have done for free. $830 million. So that's one that we've stopped. And that contract was going out after you were inaugurated, sir. So it was jumping.
It's a fraud.
Yep.
It's a fraud.
Yeah, it is. And speaking of fraudsters, now let's turn to the first full sit down with the Doge Bros. It's available. It's a 30-minute interview on Special Report with Brent Mayer. And speaking of fraud,
those are some of the funnest games to go to.
Talking about the fraud.
I remember when I was in El Paso, I went and saw the El Paso Chihuahuas. what they were called at the time. I don't know, that was back in the early 2000s. They were the same deal. They were like developmental league, A league. The El Paso Chihuahuas.
And the most amount of fake righteous indignation, the fraudsters. It's a town. They look like the $2 million to Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, that's AAA.
And somebody gets $2 million more from the federal government. She has why? I've never many such cases like that.
And it gets worse.
Sniper! He'd be getting wet if he's out there now. It's sprinkling.
A chance to listen to the Doge Bros, as they're referred to.
What the hell is he hauling? What the hell is that thing? Is that a dumpster? Oh, one of those smaller dumpsters.
Understanding of what the goal is, it's recommended watching.
You had to say it since
busy days and busy nights.
Dio's not here.
Family and more. Watch for yourself. Bring along
Or he's lurking.
a friend. See how much they object, how much they clutch their pearls.
Ooh,
But what are they really?
it must be empty. It's bouncing around.
Well, they're also changing the culture in government.
One, we're changing the culture. The culture has been not a lot of caring and not a lot of commitment to doing this right relative to financial operations. There's $500 billion of fraud every year. There's hundreds of million dollars in improper payments, and we can't pass it on. The consolidated financial report is produced by Treasury, and we cannot pass it on. We have material weakness. What that means is that if I was a public company CFO, I would effectively be removed. I couldn't file financial statements. I couldn't issue securities. Can't pass it on. I think they cannot pass it on. Is that possible? In order to pass it on the board, you need the information if that's what you're passing on. You need to have the payment codes, you need to have the payment explanation, and you need to have a person you can contact to understand why that payment was made. None of those things were mandatory until just recently, just a few weeks ago. In fact, maybe last week. Yeah, we're serving 580 plus agencies, and up until very recently, effectively they could say make the payment, and Treasury just sent it out as fast as possible. No verification. And so what we're doing is what any household will do. But imagine you're a household, you have a bank account, everyone has an ATM card connected to that account, everyone has a checkbook in that account. It's not just your children, it's not just your parents, it's your in-laws, it's your extended family, and they all can go to the account and disperse funds. No questions asked, no justification.
Wow.
They love their government, don't they, in Washington, D.C.? The Democrats, some of the elitist Republicans, the bureaucrats, the corrupt ones. There are good ones, there are corrupt ones. And the fraudsters that don't like this. Oh, there's so much more. The point there that in order to pass an audit, you have to take the first steps. And by the way, they've all jumped into the game on the, quote, media. You know, the fact checking of the Doge Bros. That rude awakening in store for the Doge Bros. You just have to search for them. Every Doge rumor that we fact checked so far. The people in the universe of the Doge Bros. There's a rude awakening. What's the rude
Pretty
awakening?
empty here.
That is the rude awakening.
I think Michael's is closed.
See, there's such a key difference here.
None of their vans or anything are out? There must be. Oh, it's opening day. That's right. They're doing catering downtown, probably.
But now you're getting to see it, and you get to see the receipts.
Yeah, they're catering tent parties downtown, I bet you, for opening day.
The corruptocrats, and more.
Got a tiger sweater on.
Now, they are getting death threats.
All right, I probably fired up for a little bit on the desktop. I'm hoping it's good. Today's kind of catch-up day. Yesterday I was doing a lot of other stuff, so peace. Love you guys. Anyone else that may be lurking? See you later.
As they are on track to